Come up on the upper Stour today. Lovely sunny day. The river's 0.5 at Hamoon. It's got a tinge, a good flow. I'm in a swim noted for the odd chub and roach. I'm going to look at 3 or 4 swims within about 100 yards. Maybe try float fishing, ledgering. Going to start off with a pinch of flake on a size 12 and a bit of liquidised bread. Hope for a chub and maybe a roach, and then, like I say, maybe try 1 or 2 other swims depending on how I get on up in this first swim. Right, I'm finally ready to go. The rod I'm using is an old favourite, a Normark number 2 quiver. Got the carbon tip in. The glass tip also fits it. Little feeder there. A little bit of liquidised, let's say, just see if I get a response from a chub after a few chucks. Size 12 hook. Near the kingfisher. Casting a good 15 yards downriver. I dare say it's going to bounce around a bit and see what happens. Don't quite know what happened there. It sort of whizzed around, a bit of weed on the line. Tiniest of plucks then, and something is not a little roach. You're barely moving the tip. Watch out here, it's quite snaggy. Can't believe that bite. Just little taps then, barely 1/8 of an inch on the tip, and a whacking great chub. There we are, a nice chub to start the day. Only about 4th cast, around about 3 pounds. Certainly for our tiny little bite. Well, that was a promising start. 3rd cast, the tiny sort of tremble bites. And all hell broke loose, and a nice chub about 3 pounds. Let's see if there's bigger mates down there. On the Stour in the winter, any decent fish that needs a net's a good one. On the upper Stour, sort of 3 pounds a typical decent chub. 4 pounders are hard to find. They do get them though, and there's even the odd 5 and 6 pounder, but not expecting that here. But a 4 pounder is possible, and plenty of smaller ones as well as nice roach. If it was down sort of on the Hamoon gauge, about maybe 6 inches lower than this, you'd be able to float fish this nicely. A float will go through it, but it's really heaving through. All the time you've got to watch that tip. And there's little, it sort of pulls round a bit, shifts. Just a little nod then. Don't think this is that big, might be a roach. It just tapped. This isn't a big chub this time. This might be a decent roach. Oh no, it's a small chub, about 12 ounces. That might be a roach for a minute, you can't really tell. There we are. That was a dace, it would be a monster. trying to drop it not too far out, but I've got to get past all these trees without going up the trees. That's the problem. But that last time, something nudged it, knocked it. The bait was still there, so it was a line bite or hit the feeder, or a nibble from a roach. In a swim like this, the tip's never still. It's sort of bending round a bit, easing back. The odd nudge as the feeder shifts a tiny bit. I just had some little plucks then. I don't know if it was the feeder settling or a fish around it or what, I don't know. It just sort of plucked around. Just a nice steady bite then. Something's lively. That could be a chub. Quite a few snags a bit further down. That was last year or the year before. I got fished the float and it got into the branches that drag in the water there. This one's giving me a right old tussle. That's it. He got his head in the snags. Not massive. Just get his head up off water. That's it. It's not as big as the first one, but it's a good fish. It's over £2. Just gently poke away. Well, that's not too bad at all. That's 3 fish. 2 decent ones, not monsters. But certainly hard fighting. That one stuck his nose into the weed. You can see the currents kicking down there. And there's obviously an old weed bed on the bottom, and it went solid for 5 seconds. And he couldn't transfer the hook. And I suspect he grabbed a bit of weed in his mouth briefly, and then he came free. In between catching the fish, I've had 3 or 4 indications that are either line bites or proper bites or just touches. No sign of a roach yet. The colour's not bad. You can see 15 inches in, and a sort of greenish tinge. Perfect for chub. Probably more so than roach. I was tempted today to go and fish a roach swim that's quite a feral walk from here. Last time I fished it, I just had a few roach and dace. Nothing very special, no chub. I'm sure I'd catch roach up there, but it's a long walk, so I've restricted myself to a short bit of water here. And I'll give this swim a bit. We're coming up to about 50 minutes now. 3 fish, like I say, missed 3 or 4. This old Normark quiver tip rod has been modified. It's got a screw down handle I put on it. It was the first one I really converted, and the blank's much thicker than the match rods. It's one of the sort of mid-80s rods, maybe a little bit later than the mid-80s. And the screw down fitting I got was probably could have done with being a millimetre wider to fit easily, so I ended up with a sort of gap there that I filled in with tape and then put a cork hood on it, cork hood there, and it's comfortable to use. The reel is totally secure and definitely an improvement. It meant re-whipping this ring there, but I can't say I did a fantastic job there, but the fish don't look at that. Well, I said last cast, but I'm just going to chuck it across the river. It's probably going to swing across. I've been fishing sort of almost straight downstream of the tip. There's a lot more bend in the tip now because it's getting more of the current onto the line, and it might just, I don't know, it might pull a chub up. Don't want to be too long, so I want to maybe try somewhere else in a minute. Yeah, it's easing back, so it's the bait, the feeder's swinging across the current. It's sort of easing back, but there's nothing suggesting a fish. It's just the feeder moving, rolling across. When there were fish there seemed to be little tiny indications that something was going on, and that's gone now. No. I've moved 20 yards down river, same gear, same feeder gear, and I can now get down towards this other bit of slack water here and see if I can pick up anything else. Give it another half an hour or so with the bread feeder. Float fishing has been a sort of difficult option on this field in these conditions. If it was, let's say, 6 inches lower, I'd probably float fish it through here, but it's a bit too fast. Be interested to see if I get any bites from this bit further down, or whether that was the end of it. 3 chub. Cloud cover's come over now. It's not as warm, and not got that hot sun, more subdued light. Be nice just to get a roach, but I don't know. Yeah, you get some little plucks and something that is distinctly unroach like and came off. And it looks like it got me in a snag. That's a shame. That was a chub. Once again, it's those tiny little plucks, very shy bites. Bit unlucky not to get that one. I thought for a moment that was a roach, a little touches, but bites then again. There's some fish down there. Because I'm fishing downstream of where I've already fished, there's obviously some bread has filtered down here, and there's some fish that haven't come up to the feeder. That's a lost fish and a missed fish in 2 casts. Maybe 3rd time lucky. Yeah, it's starting to tremble again. And again, tiny little bite. I'm not convinced this is a chub. Surely a roach at last. A good roach would be nice. No, it's a small chub again. Another one about 12 ounces. Another tap. There's certainly a load of fish under here, just getting them out. I don't think this is 12 ounces. That last one felt more like a roach. The small ones feel like decent roach. Where's the feeder? I don't think it's not a monster. It's decent. Get him out. Come on, old look ahead. This one's had an encounter with a cormorant or something. About 2.5 pound. Nice fish. He's a bit scarred up. And it's been 4 casts and 4 bites, 2 fish. Lost one, missed one. And it's got to be the feed from just above me. And it's a bit steadier water here, maybe the chub prefer that, waiting for the bait to come down. This one's really pulling, the line got round the reel a bit, I couldn't wind in, but I've got it coming now. Again, tiny little bite. This one's heading right across the river. That's coming back now. There's a decent size, not massive. Get your head. You'll do. Another one over 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds. Prime, lovely winter chub. Fall like hell. And again, there was a little knock in the cast before, and then a fish. And a tiny little bite. I don't know why they're so shy today. I really don't know. Slip them back gently with the net. I think I'm going to have another 10 minutes. Well, it's been quite a good day. 4 decent chub between 2 and 3 pounds. 2 smaller ones, sort of under a pound. Lost another decent one. Missed a few little taps. All the bites have been quite shy to start with, at least little tiny nudges and things. Very, very simple fishing. No sign of roach whatsoever, which is a bit perplexing. It's a bit clear for roach, but there should be lots in here. I don't know if there are anymore. I wonder if they've largely gone. They seem to be very scarce on the Stour. Let's see if we can get lucky another time. I've ended up fishing 2 swims, adjacent swims. Fished the top one for an hour and a bit and the bottom one also for an hour and a bit. Similar number of bites in both, half a dozen or so. Same number of fish and pretty much the same catch in each one. So a 3-pounder, a 2-pounder and a small one just under a pound, something like that. All on a size 12 hook and a pinch of flake with a little feeder there, which is it says Drennan 12 grams, and it's a plastic feeder rather than a cage feeder. Lost 1 fish, I say missed half a dozen bites. The conditions are perfect for chub, which is nice to see, but where the roach are, I have no idea whatsoever. They've been scarce all season. I don't think the bites I've missed have been roach at all. I think they've just been chub moving around the swim or plucking at the bait or knocking the feeder. In a different area, different swim, I might get some roach, but they seem definitely gone from here. Hope you've enjoyed this video. It's been a bit, as I did one recently, chub or bust, but they've certainly pulled my string, as they say, or as Matt Hayes would say, they don't half hang on. Until next time, it's goodbye for now.